Hello everyone and welcome back to another altered video. Today we've gone back to our Basira and Kaizaimon list with a few updates from the Skybound Odyssey set. Um, and we're just going to test it out and see if the deck's good. Test out a couple of the cards, see if we can make any changes and whether they're worth using. So we'll go through those. Everything is pretty standard. Chucked a couple of copies of Mana Eruption in here. We'll get into that in a little bit. But that's one of the only changes from previous sets that we've made. But there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards to go through. So let's crack on with it. Altrin Teammate, a 2 mana 2/2/1 that you can rush to give a boost. Obviously you get the extra one off Basira there. Saw this one and thought it was a pretty good turn 1 play if you've got one of your series of 1-drops, so Tiny Gins, Rabbits or Keylon Cylinders, plus your boost spells down here. So a lot of ways to trigger that early, get a lot of stats on the board. Obviously if you're playing it specifically on turn 1, Helping Hand and Rage aren't fantastic. But the other three, pretty good value. The wingsuit jumper in here, we're running that one at rare because you can rush as well to draw from hand. Thought long and hard about this one, thought we'd give the jumper a chance at rare. Obviously rushing and drawing a card from hand is better than from reserve, in that you always get your chance to hit it. Same thing, but because it costs 3, you won't be able to rush it on turn 1. So, bit more of a later game card. Pretty good in the mid as well. Finding ways to draw cards is always the most important thing, I feel. And it's got that little text at the bottom as well. To gain a boost as a support ability, which we like, because if you ever get in a situation where you're ahead, trading 1 for 1 and just boosting something else might be a good idea. The common version of this card rushes to draw a card when played from reserve, which is also good. Obviously you're getting a bunch of your card draw out of reserve already with the Serengars. So, giving yourself a variety of options might be good, but I'm not sure how excited I am to play this on turn 1, because you don't get the card if that's the case. So potentially playing it out and then, recouping the card later or giving them a target for sabotage might be a better option. We'll see how it goes. See how we feel about that one. Colourful Cuckoo, extra ramp if you can give it the boosts. Obviously if they ever actually create a creature against you, you get the second boost that you need to trigger the ramp ability. So, pretty good in Basira. That one I'm looking specifically at Sigismar matchups because it blanks the extra stats that they get from their token, so you can always play that on the hero side. Kojo and Buddha's one as well, and you can try and disincentivize, Lindaway and Moors or Moyos out of Izmir as well from trying to create their token, because when you create the token, we get 2 boosts, which basically counteracts whatever it is that they can get out of it. Excited about this one, keen to see how it goes. Obviously a lot of other people are. That card's looking pretty expensive at the moment. We've got our 2 copies of Rage, so non-fleeting characters gain 2 boosts and fleeting. Just running this one in those helping hand slots that we've had, so we've gone down to 2 for the helping hand, up to 2 for the Rages. Just trying out a split of those to see if when we play one, if the other would be good. This one obviously better in the late game, you know, because you basically lose the chance to cast the card from reserve, but the extra boosts might be important. We'll try and find it out. A little bit worried about that. A bit of a non-bow with the cuckoo, unless you can remove fleeting with one of your 2 helping hands specifically, because you don't get the ramp. So not sure about that one. 2 Parliament of Ashes over here. We've seen this deck a lot. We know that protecting our combo in any way that we can is important. So getting one of these down before you're trying to drop one of your 3 little pigs, the Foundry Armorer, just sort of disincentivizes your opponent from targeting them. And yeah, draws a card on the way in as well. So we're running 2 of those at the moment. Didn't want to go up to the full 3 because we're at 8 permanents already. Don't want to overload drawing those when you need creatures is, you know, can be a bit rough. Sort of discounted by the fact that you draw cards, you might draw it into it anyway. And then the last one is just Cowrie's Intervention as a one-of. So for 1 mana, you can give all of your stuff that costs 3 or more tough 5. So if you're ever at 8 mana specifically, basically your opponents are never going to be able to target your combo. Trying that as a one-of at the moment. You know, a bit of a nice to have, but not a build around, so we'll see how that one goes. Maybe we'll go up to a second one just so we don't have to worry about mannering it if it turns up early or when we don't need it. This deck already has issues with its uniques being basically unmannerable, and adding an extra card in there may be a bit of an issue. Yeah, pretty straightforward. This is a deck that I'm pretty familiar with, big fan of. Definitely think it's my main, and if I were to take something to a tournament, it may be this one. Maybe missing 1 card in particular, just one of those uniques, you know, as a way to you know, improve the deck a little bit, but we know it works, so we can really focus in and see if the new cards make a difference. That being said, let's just jump into it. Alright, see you in game 1. And here we are with our Skybound Odyssey, updated Basira and Kaizaimon. Back to comfort this week. Trying out a few new cards and see how the deck goes. Obviously you've seen all of that in the deck tech. Let's have a look at what we got here. Not a fantastic start here. Playing first, got 2 cuckoos, which is too many. I think I prefer Parliament over Haven here as well, and we're obviously going to have to keep the 3 little pigs. Although we draw an extra card, and the rage might be... No, the rage is bad with the cuckoo, because the cuckoo's rare ability triggers when it goes to reserve from the expedition, so we'd have to be relying on getting a helping hand out of the deck. Alright, we are good. We'll just drop a cuckoo on the companion side so that if they do make a more token, at least we get our boost. See what they want to do with their mana. Probably not too interested in boosting it at the moment. So hopefully we can just sneak this one in. Pass the turn here. They may Gift of Self away the Moonlight Jellyfish, but yeah, going for 1 ain't too bad for them there. Alright, really hoping for one of our boost spells. the cuckoo. We've got a lot of options here. We actually would have hit on the helping hand with the rage, which is kind of funny. We've got 2 piggies, so we're going to have to get rid of one of those. We're going to keep this one around because it's got tough 1, makes it a little bit harder to interact with. And they're going to have to try and sacrifice 2 characters to be able to buff it up against the cuckoo. So what we'll do is we'll drop the Parliament of Ashes first. They will hit it with removal. They're going to discard the cuckoo. That's a shame. Alright. We'll drop the Parliament, hope we get a 2-drop. We get a 3. But they're not going to be able to do anything. So we'll pass. Getting the Parliament down and before they had been able to Merlin actually would have saved our little cuckoo there. 5 mana, we've got 2 2-drops here, so we could rush the teammate, play the bouncer, get rid of their jellyfish. I do like drawing cards as well, so I think we'll actually get rid of the helping hand here. Now, how does this interact? Do we... So if we alt run to rush, we can put the bouncer in, that'll give her a boost, we get another boost. Yeah, I think we'll do that. So we'll play a card, put the bouncer in. I think we'll get rid of the jellyfish here. Don't want them drawing cards. We'll put a boost on the bouncer to block the Merlin as well. So if they want to play that one out and stop us from advancing, they can. But if they want to advance, we'll trade 1 for 1. Expeditions line up pretty comfy for that one, which is why we put the teammate on the hero side, because they don't care about blue there, which is our weak stat. Merlin plus off you go lets them get ahead here, but they can't actually do that because of the tough 1. So they would have to play a 2-drop that blocks and then off you go something as well. If we advance here, we're going to look good for the Serengar. If we advance here, we're going to look bad for it, so see what we can get done. Ah, there you go. One for 1. We're okay with that. Alright, Mana Eruption, Fire Rabbit, both looking good here. We'll get rid of the Eruption. Not looking good for our Serengar at the moment. Interesting choice to play the Jellyfish before the Amarok, because that works as a sack outlet, so I guess we'll expect a Gift of Self here. what does that mean for us? They can't play the Amarok without running out of all their mana, so they've got to be doing something else here at the moment. Pass the turn because we've got access to another boost with the rabbit. And see what our opponent wants to get done. So we're going to play out the Serengar next and save the boost for our rabbit. Baba's Ispa. So 2 mana. Means they can likely only buff their Maw once. And we'll save the Ultra and teammate as well. If we have to, we can play the rabbit out, get a 3rd power on this side. Oh. Yeah, I don't think they've got the mana to sacrifice again. So they may just sack the jellyfish to draw, to put it in reserve. Or the Gift of Self, that'll do it. Another Sabotage would be pretty juicy here. But we'll take our 2 for nothing. Alright, so now that we've got a bit of a lead, we could start thinking about just pushing one side, trading 1 for 1, because that's a win for us if they can't do anything about it. Wingsuit Jumper might be good here as well. I think we'll Serengar first. So we could, in theory, Jumper plus teammate, though we can't chain it with an extra rush. So if we wait until next turn, we can Jumper, teammate, Fire Rabbit, dump all of our mana. Kind of a cool little vibe for the new Bravos hero as well. Okay. Alright, this stat lineup looks kind of cheeks for us. Okay, so what they're going to be looking to do is make a Maw token, sacrifice the jellyfish, have 3 mana to do other things as well. So they could potentially get it bigger than that with the Baba's Ispa. Got a lot of sack here. But what I think we'll do is we'll cash in our card here. Use the Jumper. Fire Rabbit. And gain a boost on the Jumper because they won't be able to add any extra stats to this side unless they get rid of the Amarok. So we block that off. If we trade 1 for 1 here, it's going to cost them a bunch of cards. They do recoup some of them with the jellyfish. Carrier's Intervention will be live next turn if we do draw our full combo. Only need to advance once, which we know we can do with the Jumper, unless they explicitly off you go. So what are they going to do? Gift of Self here, draw 3 cards. Moth Lantern also makes sense. And funnily enough, if we'd boosted the Rabbit or the Serengar with Basira, I think everyone would have advanced there, which might have been good for us. Alright, we actually hit it. So this game is likely over. We're going to drop the intervention plus our 2 other little guys. Just enough mana to do it. State characters with hand cost 3 or more that they control a tough 5. So we could target our opponent if we wanted to. I don't think it's a good idea. But tough 5 plus tough 1 is tough 6. So if they spend any mana here, off you go is absolutely not live anymore. So Carrie's intervention doesn't let us target a player. Actually this came up in testing. Submitted a bug report because it sort of just triggers, doesn't actually give you a visual indicator that the tough 5 is working unless it's your opponent. So it is in effect, but I did submit a bug report. The only thing that can stop us is a banishing gate because we never got an extra landmark out. They're giving us an after you. Get a boost. We've seen this one before. Click through it a few times. Gonna have to click through it a fair bit. We've got 2 triggers of this, so we can target these 2 to get rid of that one because it's annoying. I think we'll just get the pig to 10 because I can't expect that they'll be able to buff it 4 times. Boost, and that should be sufficient. Avalanche costs 5 mana, which would wipe one side of our board without targeting. They don't have anything to reduce it in reserve, like a Studious Disciples. And I think we're good. Gift of Self, do they have enough? Do they have enough for 2 mana to give it 6 points worth of stats? They do not. And there we go. Nice, clean, showcased some of the new cards. Best case scenarios for them. Hit them with a good old GG and move on to game 2. We're happy with that one. See you there. And you're joining us back, jumping into round 2. Let's see how we go. Alright, Moyo and Silk this time. Seems to be the new hotness. Gonna have to give it a go, maybe push it a little bit up the pipeline. What do we got here? Not a great starting hand. Wingsuit Jumper can't actually draw a card on turn 1 because we have no follow-up. We do have the Helping Hand and the Intervention for that. And I'm a little bit reluctant to give away the one of this card that we have in the deck, but it's not really the situation for it. Our opponent is going first, so we might be able to get away with the Haven Bouncer and then Wingsuit Helping Hand, or Bouncer Helping Hand if we find something else to do with the jumper later. So we can sort of map out our turns here, see how we go. This is the kind of hand that I expect to go down 1 for 2 or none for 2 with, depending on what our opponent does. Winged Monkey gains 2 boosts. They make an Aerolith. Alright. We'll pass on the discard, nothing to hit. And just go 1 for 1. I'm sure our opponent's happy to see that one come out turn 1. They must know our hand is cheeks. At least we get to draw an extra card next turn if we do nothing else. Got that one locked in for now as an option. Alright, Rage and the first instance of our piggies. I think I would prefer Helping Hand here. Their monkey actually doesn't help them on either side here. It doesn't block us. It is, however, a 1-drop. Alright. Just going to play out the Bouncer Helping Hand here. Give it a boost if they want to off you go it. Suppose that's the risk that we take. So they can play a 4-drop here. Makes a 2/2/2 Mana Moth as well on the hero side. So if they play, it's only spells. There is that new card they could play, the big serpent thingy, counts as a spell. Don't think it costs 4 though. I think it's a little bit more expensive than that. Keeping the Helping Hand. Ah no, there it is. They had exactly that. Did cost them 4 mana. Unfortunately, we do not have a tiny Djinn in hand to take advantage of that. So I'll just pass and take our 1 for 1. Play it a little bit slow. Got a couple options here. The Kaline Cylinder, obviously a pretty good landmark to hit here with the 3 little pigs. Wingsuit Jumper, Colourful Cuckoo. I think at this point I want to start drawing cards rather than playing out. But we could, if they play a 4 mana spell, they could play the Cuckoo out. they could activate the cuckoo, so it does sort of neg their mana moth in that way. There you go. The unique here making the hand a little bit awkward. It kind of would have been cool to keep both of those cards. They play a little monkey. Alright. We'll play the jumper out on the companion side. If they try and play a Lilo, it doesn't actually block us. Tiny Jin looking spicy as well, actually. Might be a better idea to play that one out here. Obviously better with the rage that we put into the mana zone over the helping hand, but we can only play one this turn. But it'll give us a play for next turn as well, which we're pretty happy with. Could at least we've got play as well if they do remove our jumper. We've already drawn our card. Shiva. Discard the permanent. Yeah, there you go. There's a little window for us. We could have gone two for one here, which I guess is functionally the same as going one for none. Would have put us closer to winning with our win condition with our 2 unique combo. Alright, 6 mana. What can we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of either of these. We could replay the jumper next turn. But I think I like the idea of playing out the Tiny Jin. And if they sabotage, it means they can get rid of the Tiny Jin still. I guess we'll boost it now. Might have been good to keep that around, but we can jump a helping hand, jump a Keylon cylinder. Tiny Jin will ramp us to 7, and next turn will ramp us to 8. I mean, that's sort of fine, right? Drop another Keylon cylinder, see if they want to spend another 4 mana to get rid of it. I'm happy to play that game because I know I've got more landmarks in my deck than they do Shivas. Banishing Gate would sort it out as well. They're going to have one small window if we play the pigs to get rid of our landmark. So a second one would be nice. as gigantic. So we'll gain our keylon counters and drop the jumper to go 1 for 1 again. Alright, so based on our hand, to get any value we'd have to play pigs and tiny gin. We can do that with 7 mana, so we're actually gonna take the ramp that we had from last turn with the tiny gin, even up the amount of mana we have access to. We're gonna drop a Parliament of Ashes. If they get rid of that, I'm pretty happy. Draws us a card on entry anyway, and keeps our Keylon cylinder around. Going to be mana positive for whatever they can play for us. And we've still got enough to play Pig's Tiny Gin, or whatever we draw out of the... Ooh, is that good? Alright, we've got a little bit of testing to do here actually, so we can wingsuit jumper here. We can still helping hand the tiny gin in order to get rid of it off of the thing, but we have a chance to test here. So if we play the wingsuit jumper on the companion side, play a card draw, okay, we don't actually get the option to use our Keylon cylinder. So what we'll do is we'll use the helping hand first. That's really good to know. You're not actually allowed to use the cylinder in between when resolving your jumper. I think we still do it with the tiny gin. Just ramps us ahead. We're okay losing the card here because we recouped 1 from the Parliament of Ashes and it gets us back ahead on mana, which we like. And our one turn away from winning if we do draw our card is live. Okay, Duel of Grit, we're going first. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can't get rid of the Elilo, but we can get rid of the Mana Moth. Evanescence is live, but it means they wouldn't be able to make a Mana Moth. I think we'll get rid of the Duel of Grit. Winter Nova's live now. So I think we actually don't want to rush here. Because if we did, they would make the Mana Moth, get rid of 2 of our things. We'd still be able to go 1 for 1 with the Fire Rabbit. but the Nova may come out and get rid of both of our... Is that an option? Is that one of the modes on Winter Nova to discard a permanent? I don't know. Guess we're going to have to look it up after this game. But we'll see what they want to do. Using any sort of mana for them here is going to be interesting. Duel of Grit would have been live here. They give them the After You. And I think we will keel on cylinder our second wingsuit jumper. Both those triggers work, and if they want to use their Evanescence, they've only got 1 mana. And we'll target the jumper here as well to sort of incentivize that. They've got 5 mana. We got a Rage. Funnily enough, would have been better to use that before the Helping Hand. But we'll see. Can either be an Evanescence or whatever else they've got in hand. Does a Lilo do it for them? They won't advance, but neither will we. We don't care about that. Okay. I think with our 1 remaining mana, we just buff the jumper. We actually advance on both sides. Clean. And there you go. Our opponent's calling us lucky. Not too upset with that one. I suppose we did draw 1, 2, 3, 4 extra cards on top of them this game, so you know, luck played a factor. Had to draw what we did, but I'm going to claim that one. Actually, I think that's just good deck building. Alright, time to go look up what Winter Nova does. See you in a second. Alright, and we're back with game 3 for Basira and Kaizaimon. Took a moment just to find out what Winter Nova does. And it does indeed discard permanents. So you get to choose 3, so you can exhaust 2 cards, make some mana moths, discard permanents, or make someone sacrifice things. Alright, what have we got here? We could Teammate Fire Rabbit turn 1, Parliament of Ashes Fire Rabbit, Wingsuit Jumper also draws a card. Duel of Grit and Rage are probably not options, and then it's probably one of either Wingsuit or Parliament. Because we want to rush our teammate here. I guess we'll get rid of the Parliament, because what that lets us do is play the teammate, drop the Fire Rabbit, and if we don't use the Fire Rabbit's ability, we can actually rush it next turn with the Wingsuit Jumper. Yeah, I think that's alright. That'll be fine. We've laid everything bare for our opponents. Pretty good start. I actually don't mind that. The teammate is doing a little bit of work, even at common. You know, putting, what, 5-5-3 power out on the board on turn 1 is pretty good for 3 mana. Yeah. The jumper being rush from hand is probably better than the common version, which rushes from reserve, because obviously your opponent gets a chance to interact. It telegraphs it a little bit more. Going 1 for 1 there ain't bad. Made the choice for him a little bit, but at least that's a Chiron out of the way. So we'll see what they want to do with the Buddha. Oh, another Fire Rabbit. And another Cuckoo. I had high hopes for this card. It seems really strong. Might still be strong. Know what I mean? Just not really the place for it. I would, if I were to play it, I'd like to hold on to it for this turn. Purely so that once it loses anchored, it's our opponent's turn again, and we get the boost with the Cuckoo token. We also have the option of teammating into Fire Rabbit if we get rid of one of our 3-drops. But I think the Cuckoo's just poor here. It does represent our next 3 ways to ramp, so we got rid of the Mighty Djinns out of this list. Trying the Cuckoo in its spot. So far, not great. But I don't think I'm ready to stop using it at the moment. Purely because it seems very strong into Sigismar matchup. So if you drop it on the hero side, you're always going to get it. Alright, so what are they going to do? They're going to get 2 power plus 1 on either side. So we need to get to 1, 2, 3. They can get to 5 here. On the companion side, or they can get to 3 with the Chiron on this side. So do we just take the handshake here? How does that look? I think that's fine. If they have something else in hand, perfectly reasonable. But we've got the 3-4-3 stats here. First landmark shows up, we might look at playing that. 5 mana means Haven plus Alt Run rushing Fire Rabbit next turn. Slightly less powerful on turn 3 than it is on turn 1. But they may choose to pass here. Can't use Duel of Grit. Intimidation does nothing for him because we've got the 2 creatures on one side.
and the Chiron doesn't win. So if they don't have another 2-drop in hand, I think they're better off just keeping the cards. A little bit of an admission of guilt here, I guess. I don't really look through the spoilers when new sets are announced. They do pass, so they've come to the same conclusion that we have. But when I build the decks, I have a look through and see if there's anything that we can swap out. Alright, this is not the kind of spot for Mana Eruption. Why is this here? This is going to get annoying. Let's refresh the page. There you go. Got rid of that one. Sorry about that. That was going to hang around for quite a while, I think. And we've got options. We can wingsuit to boost something. We can also wingsuit from reserve to put 4 power into blue, which we like because it beats what they're presenting now. Not on its own. And blue is weak for us on all the other cards. But let's see. So this would be 4 plus 3 is 7. So they can beat us, depending on where they want to place their resources. Chiron gains a boost from Haven, gains a boost itself. Gives itself a boost. Basira can boost it. Haven can boost it if we rush one of our fire rabbits. So wingsuit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Gets them to 5, 6, 7. We can trade 1 for 1 here. How do we feel about that? Going down a lot of cards though. One, 2, 3. We'll boost it. I think we won't play a card. We'll see what they want to do. Duel of Grit is live on our alt run. And then we would have to fade a 1-drop. So if we play the Fire Rabbit, they can play their own to block it. But Tiny Jin doesn't actually do it for them. We'll just pass the turn here. Had we played out on that side, we would have lost with the bouncer. So we're okay with this. Gonna have to draw some gas though. Right, piggies. Piggies plus 2 fire rabbits looks juicy, I guess. Yeah. So I think we'll actually say bye-bye to the cylinder here and do that. We get to see what our opponent wants to do. Tiny Jin blocks us, doesn't help them very much. They get the boost. But that is a heavy investment for 2 stats. So they would get to 6. We'll drop the piggies. And we'll see what we can do here. We've got options. Fire Rabbit to gain fleeting. We'll have to do that with one of them because it's not that big a deal to lose one when we're going to be putting three cards into reserve anyway. And we've always got the choice to do it with the other one as well. So if they use the bouncer, they go up to 6 on this side. We need to give the pigs 3 boosts, 1, 2, which we can. And we might actually be able to we can block them, but I don't think we're going to get to 6 on the brown expedition. Having a good long think about it. Right, reasonable from them. So we're going to have to put exactly 3 boosts onto the pig. Give the Fire Rabbit fleeting. 2 little pigs there. And then do we preserve? Okay, so Fire Rabbit comes in. Can give the other Fire Rabbit a boost. 1, 2, plus 2 more. That's a lot of 1-drops gone out of our deck, but a double advance here is pretty strong. We can threaten with the pigs, not so much now. So we're actually just going to pass here. We're not going to want to drop the intervention on this turn. This one's going to look like a bit of a loss for us, I think. Okay, the cuckoo shows up when we want it to. If they have sabotage, they'll use it now. If they don't, we'll know we're okay. Reasonable. Do we use Carrie's intervention as an after you effect here? I think we do. Actually, that's not ideal. I'm probably giving up a given up a 0 for 2 here. Probably should have played the pigs first to play around that. Rookie error. At least it'd be out. If we got rid of one of our cards as well, we could have played the cuckoo after, boosted it. Yeah, that's a lot of stats that we've just missed out on here, because they're going to play another character out on the hero side. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. We'll give our cuckoo the boost to block them. Pass the turn. A second fire rabbit from hand with them on the companion side lets them advance, but they pass. So we're actually not too upset with going down 0 for 1 there. Wukong's kind of scary. Suppose we're just going to sit on the cards we've got in hand again. Pass here. See what they want to get done. Losing in mana advantage here is a little bit rough. We can actually play everything out from hand though. We'll use the intervention again just to protect our cuckoo, because that feels important. Then we're going to run out of points here a little bit, but Tiny Djinn plus Helping Hand will let us advance against the Buddha if they do nothing else. The Bouncer will block us, and if that's the case, we'll Tiny Djinn Helping Hand, keeping the Helping Hand in reserve to ramp with the cuckoo as well to catch up. Yeah, that side's a lost cause. See what they want to do with their remaining 2 cards. If they pass, we go 1 for 1 here. Not too mad about that, but we won't be able to ramp with the cuckoo. Is it better to go 1 for 2 here? No. No, it is not. We've already made a misplay, so this game's closer than it should have been. But cuckoo's doing work here, I gotta say. It's alright. So we actually go 0 for 2. So they've advanced 3 times to our nada. Caught up a little bit in ramp, but we do need a bit of a miracle here. I'm going to pass. So we've got the option of pass. We've got the option of helping handing the cuckoo to keep it around and ramping again. That's kind of the interaction I liked about the card. But I don't think this is the place for it, because we're going to want to drop the Foundry Armourer first. We'll play the cuckoo on the companion side, so if we do actually manage to block with the Armourer, the cuckoo will get its boost next turn anyway from Buddha. Tiny Djinn, Foundry Mechanic, will helping hand the Foundry Armourer will helping hand the Foundry Armourer to drop a bunch of stats on the board. No, if they have a second creature in hand to drop the physical training on against our cuckoo, we're actually just going to lose. But that's alright. No, they know they've got this. No intervention to save us here. Might have been better to hold on to that one, because we lost that turn 2 for nothing anyway, or 0 for 2 for our opponent. Yeah. Alright. And they've done the thing. Congrats to our opponent. We'll hit him with a GG, concede, and go on to the deck review. Alright. Forgot what the word was there. It's getting late, so I'll probably do that one tomorrow. But you'll hear from me in about 5 seconds.
And there you have it, a 2-1 record with our Basira and Kaizaimon. Pretty happy with that one. A little disappointed in how I played against Kojo and Buddha. Sort of flubbed a couple of things there, but the way our draws panned out, we probably weren't winning that one anyway. I think we can just chalk that one up to variance. We definitely had play there. And we just didn't get over the line. The other two games were pretty comfortable. Izmir matchups aren't too bad for this deck. Would have been nice to showcase, but this is the one that I play if I'm ever on the can at work or something like that. So, we're going to get options and chances to test with this one. Alright, with that out of the way, let's just go through how all of the Skybound Odyssey cards in particular performed for us. Really impressed with Altran Teammate. Just gives you a lot of ways to get two creatures into play without your opponent interacting, so provides a really good target for Fire Rabbit in those cases. Tiny Djinn's really good as well, because it gives itself a boost. If you throw the Tiny Djinn in, you can boost at that with Basira. Ramp yourself out a little bit early, so go down on the card advantage in those regards, but hopefully for some form of tempo gain in the long run. Did like that one. Rushing to give it a boost came up fairly often. Good out of reserve as well, so I'm a big fan of that one. The wingsuit jumper, I think I mentioned it in the deck tech. Not being able to get your full value out of this card on turn 1 can make it a little bit of an awkward keep. Really good for turn 2 if you do manage to find one of your many 1-drops as well. But I may consider dropping this one down to the common and getting some other cards in there as well. Cuckoo, not a great showing of this one. Might not be worth the full 3 rare slots. But this one sort of acts as a bit of a replacement for your Mighty Djinns. I suppose you could play Swift Djinns in that as well, but for the deck that we were running, took out the Mighty Djinns for this one. I think I like it better. Obviously the anchored, keeping it around, bit of an angle that we haven't had for a while since taking out those floral tents. But yeah, not the strongest showing out of this card. Didn't get to play against Sigismar, so I think I'll defer judgment on this card until I get a chance to play against that deck a few times. But yeah, promising. You have a lot of cards that will go into reserve that you're not too worried about dumping out of there. If we were to go down on the wingsuit jumpers to common, you would accrue a little bit less value. They don't line up quite as well with each other, so we'll have to think about that, but probably do that one. Rage, not as big a fan of as I thought I would be. 2 boosts plus fleeting, so 3 boosts for 1 mana, really strong. But it sort of creates these funny moments where in order to win an expedition now you're going to go down effectively 2 cards, so playing it from reserve isn't that difficult. But for things that you want to get out from reserve, like, you know, running your Haven cards, it lines up poorly with those ones. But we can potentially look at it again. Parliament of Ashes, Carrie's Intervention, I did really like those. Having these around as a target for incidental removal after you've drawn your card feels really good. So your opponent's basically, you know, you recoup your card straight away and your opponent's got to use removal on that one. You know, so it protects your Kalon Cylinders and your Havens, which can present much bigger threats to your opponent for a similar investment of mana. And the Carrie's Intervention, we actually got to pop that one off in game 2? 2 or 1. We won it with our combo, and it did actually do its job, so protecting that. Maybe it wouldn't have changed anything, but I do actually like that card as well. So if I were to make changes here at the moment, I would consider dropping the jumpers down and changing the split on these helping hands and rages. Teammate can stay, Cuckoo can stay, like we said. We'll defer judgment on that card. Everything else sort of works too. So what we might look at doing is getting rid of a helping hand. And if we check our stats, we've got 1 common to replace 3 rares. So if we go in with the wingsuit, 3 there, and the card that I was actually thinking of was bringing back an old friend, with a fire avatar for now. Now what are we looking at here? Got to get 2 more cuts out. Mana Eruption, not as big a fan of. I think the fact that you only have the 3 ways to ramp guaranteed is a bit rough. So going down on one of those doesn't feel too bad to me. You don't want to find it. It's obviously not too bad to throw into mana if you do. And we do lose out on that as an option. But we shall have a quick squeeze. So we're going to get rid of 1 more card. Maybe since we've gone up with the 3 away fades, we can go down. I actually like Helping Hand better than Rage here. The rest of our slots are pretty tight. We could go down a Haven. because we're up 3 creatures here, and then yeah, stuff it. We'll just leave that one at the 2. No, we're not going to leave that at the 2. So if we check our stats, 21, 15, 3, that looks pretty good. So we'll try that one out now. 3 away phase, 3 helping hands. You know, a lot of ways to protect stuff that comes out of reserve. Nah, we'll put the rages back in. We'll keep testing that one. Sorry, changed my mind. There you go, how's that? Yeah, alright, so in theory what we've done is we've actually fit one more rage into the deck, and we've got effectively one extra copy of Helping Hand as well. Our wingsuit jumpers coming out of reserve might be good too, so we can not feel too bad about playing that one on turn 1 and following it up with a 1-drop next turn. Not a fantastic turn 1 play for the stats that you get, but playing second it should be fine. Playing first, obviously you're at the mercy of whatever it is your opponent wants to get done. So a little bit of a weakness there, but you know, moving forward, if we ever get in a situation where we've got both of these cards in hand, you know, we could potentially rush something and then you know, remove the fleeting of whatever it is that we play out of our hand with our Ife for 1 additional mana. We'll try it out. Yeah, things still going. Got a lot of different factions to test out, so you know, look forward to those. I certainly am. But yeah, all done. I'll check in next week, but love your work.